So in our last session, we tried to, we learn about standard aDSO, types of standard aDSO we gone through, what are the different types of aDSO types we can create, and mainly we discussed about standard aDSO, and here we have three tables: new table, active table, changelog table, and we performed one example by loading data into a standard aDSO. So we created one aDSO which loads sales data from a flat file data source. We created transformation and corresponding DTP, and via by using ODP we directly loaded data from a flat file into our aDSO. Okay, and after going to aDSO we gone through three tables: active table, new table, changelog table, and I shown you the data also. Okay, so what was the process? When we load data into a standard aDSO, initially the load happens into a new table. Okay, the data comes and sits in new table. So once after we perform activation, this activation button, then it will be moving from new table into active table. Okay, then it will move from new table to active table. So at the same time, when data moving from new table to active table, the changelog table will be updated. Okay, when this changelog table will be updated, when the activation is happening, at the time changelog table will be updated accordingly. Okay, so if we go to changelog table, as of now, here there is a one column called record mode. This record mode, as of now, it contains n means new record, because as we are loading this data into this aDSO first time, each and every record contains record mode as n means new. Okay, now what we are going to learn is we are going to understand little bit more about this changelog table, how exactly it behaves in real time when we perform data load. Okay, so to understand this we need to perform one data load. Okay, delta load to this one. So it means delta load means it means nothing but already some data is there. Now I am going to upload some more data into my aDSO. Okay, for that case what I need to do, I need to prepare one prepare data. So I will go to my BW training folder, data sheets. Yesterday we created sales data 2, and now what I am going to create, I am going to create one more file, sales data 3. So this is a delta file, and if I see sales data 2 here, in this I have around 3 document numbers are there, 1, 2 and 3, and for 3 what I will do is, for example, this data is all belongs to the January 1st data. Okay, now my delta file I am going to upload the data of second date information. Okay, so generally what happens, we will take one scenario here to understand more about changelog. So what is that scenario? On January 2nd, some transactions got happened, for example 1456, something like that. On those and one of the return came of the January 1st, it means, or change I can say. On January 1st there is a transaction happened, 1003 of delivery quantity to quantity, they buy it for $12. Now on January 2nd they came and they changed this particular document number from quantity 2 to 1. It means they returned one item and taken only one. Means when the order is created, it is not always mandatory the goods already delivered to the customer. They changed their mind, they can decrease the quantity, or they can call to this customer care and ask them to increase the quantity. So we can take any one scenario. So let's take example here, decrease the quantity. Instead of 2 they asked, okay, I need only 1 quantity. It means, so how it is going to happen? Now I am going to open my Excel sheet here. Yeah, open this Excel sheet. So this is my data. Now I am going to copy this, paste here, and on let's delete the let's add something. So what happened here, this particular transaction got changed from 2 to 1. Okay, so this transaction is got changed from 2 to 1. When it is changed, still created or is same, We don't have any change on column, so we are not updating any field. Whatever document already available in the system, they simply changed the quantity from 2 to 1. That's it. And this is the change happened on January 2nd for the transaction happened on January 1st. And apart from this change, there are some new transactions happened. 1004 of item 20, 2022 01 0102 M1 of 10 100 so 10 ST 100 USD. Okay, and similarly let's take one more item for the same data record, 20 item and 20, and let's copy date from here, and M5 item of 1 and 20 and $50. That's it. Okay, so these three records are my day 2 transactional data. I'm not taking too many records, just for since where it's a learning purpose, only I'm taking minimal data. So now what I am going to do is, now I am saving my Excel sheet, and next what I am going to do, I am going to create a new Excel sheet. Okay, and then copy this day 2 information into my new Excel sheet. Now I am saving this file as a CSV file. Go to save as, browse, data and documents, BW training, data sheets, sales data. Let's take it as 3. Okay, click on save. Oh, sorry. I have to save it as CSV file format, right? Sorry, I forgot that one. Save as, 1 minute. Let me remove this. Okay, let's keep it. Let me remove the sales data 3 file here. Data sheets. Here save as type I need to change to CSV comma delimited, and I need to give here name as sales data 3. Save. Yes. That's it. Okay. I am closing it. So I am removing my Excel format and I am keeping my CSV format only. So I have one file, say a CSV file now with the latest delta information. It means a transaction change happened on the January 1st and the two new transactions which happened on the 2nd of January. Now my wish is to load this information into my BW. So how I can perform this data load? Already yesterday I prepared the data flow, so there is no need to again create entire flow today. Okay, we create the data flow once and we'll reuse the same flow every time. Only automatically, what will happen here, you need to go to the DTP section of our data flow. On the DTP section, on the DTP, now there we need to do one change. Go to edit mode of this DTP, and here if you go to this extraction, on the extraction there was file name mentioned here, right? Yesterday when we are loading this file, we are loading file from the sales data to CSV, but today our requirement is to load from sales data 3. For that scenario, just go to browse section here and then select the required file and click on open. Then automatically the path will be updated and then activate the DTP. So why we went to edit mode? Because the source file name got changed. So we need to update the extraction tab with the correct source file name and then activate the DTP. Once the DTP is in active state, then come to execute button, click on execute. So what happens when you execute the one? Now this whatever data is available on our sales data 3 records got loaded into this aDSO. When data load happened to this aDSO, where exactly the load will happen? Initially data will be placed on the new table. Okay, so either I can open that here or I can go to my SAP GUI to show it here. In BW4HANA system, the RS7 transaction code doesn't look like this. This info provider and info objects tab got removed. So in that case, what I said, we need to go to RSMNG T code. If you go to RSMNG, provide your data store, aDSO name, and then click on execute button, you will get to the similar kind of screen, manage screen of your aDSO. Now you see there is one new request got created. What exactly it means? Whenever we perform a data load, a request will be generated in the manage of the aDSO. So by looking into this request, you can understand by when the last data load happened, and this information you can see. So when the last data load happened and how many records got loaded as part of the data load. Yesterday we loaded 6 records, and today on 10th of July that request got loaded and it contains 3 records. Okay, initially the records are available on the new table, and you see on the active records there is 0 records, because since activation is not yet completed, so here it is showing 0, and here you can see not activated information also. Okay, now let's see, go to utility section and go to display new data. On the display new data, you can see the 3 records which got loaded from the flat file into our aDSO table. Okay, so you see for 1003 document number, the quantity is 1, amount is 6, and these are the 2 new records for the 1004 document number. So now coming back here, if we go to active table, just to make sure understand better, on the active table the 1004 document number is still not yet available, and we can see the 1003 still contains the old quantity 2. Okay, and if I went to my changelog table, changelog table also contains the yesterday records only. There are no new records created on the changelog table. Still only 3 records are there, 1003 with this one. Now whenever I perform the activation step, I select the request, click on activate button. So when I perform this activation button, the data from new table will be moved to the active table. So I clicked on activate button. So whenever you see this icon in yellow state, it means the process is running. Okay, what it means, the process is running. If you click on this refresh button, if the see green means completed. If you see red here, it means the activation step got failed. If it is normal, then it is fine. Next, so now go to utility section. Utilities, display new data, number of entries. You see 0 entries are there. It means since activation completed successfully, that's for that reason the records got moved to new active table. If the activation got failed, then records still be available on the new table only. Okay, now go to active table. So if I go to active table, now go to content. Now you see there are records, fourth 1004 document number came new, which is new record, and you see on the 1003 document number the M3 quantity become 1 now. Earlier it was 2, now it is 1 with $6. So what happened, whichever data was loaded latest into this target, we are able to see that particular value here. Clear? So yesterday it was 2, but on the latest data set we loaded this quantity as 1 quantity. So that's why on the active table it is exactly replicating the exact value. So how this 2 become 1 in this table? So for this particular analysis we can see on the changelog table. If I go to changelog table, now click on execute, you see for 1003 document number, I'm filtering for our convenience. So for 1003 document number, there are 3 records are there. So one record is from the 2022-7-8, means day before yesterday record, and these 2 records are the today's records. So day before yesterday record is on record mode N, and today when I perform this data load, 2 new records got generated in the changelog. So what exactly are these 2 records? One is the reversal of the existing record, and the second record is the latest value from loading from the source. Okay, in order to generally what happens, if we take Excel sheet, simple example, you written here 10, then someone said no, not 10, 20, then what you will do, simply you go here and overwrite the existing 10 with 20, right? So same thing SAP is doing here. What exactly it is doing, initially it is having 2 and 12 quantity. So whenever on the new data it is saying 1 quantity, then it has to overwrite. So overwrite means nothing but whatever value is there, it is removing that value by negating the value here, 2 to minus 2 and 12 to minus 12. So both becomes 0, and finally it is writing the new value 1 here. That's what we need to understand. So wherever it is subtract, it is negating to make it the 0. This record we call as a X. What is this record mode? X means before image, and null means after image. It means whatever earlier data is there, it is simply negating the existing record and creating a new record with the latest value. So this is how the changelog record, changelog shows the information of the latest information. So at any point of time when you are performing analysis, when user said I have 20 on ECC but it is showing 10 on BW, then you can come here and do some analysis whether how exactly it is it is replicating as 10 here on our system. Okay, this changelog analysis is important to understand, and in real time also, and sometimes we may have a chance to work on this changelog. Okay, understanding this changelog and all. So here two things are there. We need to understand a little bit more about this changelog. So the currently whatever you see is the concept of the changelog. How exactly record means on the active table always we see the latest information, means 1 is the latest, you are seeing 1, but how this 1 earlier value to new value, how exactly it got updated, you are seeing on the changelog table. So this changelog table update again depends upon the transformation only. Okay, so if you go to this transformation of your DSO, here there is one important property for every key figure, not characteristics, every key figure. In DSO, standard DSO, all the for the key figures, mainly for the key figures, mainly for the key figures, if I double click on this key figure quantity, okay, remember maybe since first time we are coming into this kind of topic, I'm telling on the transformation, this is called mapping, the one-to-one mapping. Okay, and if you want to see this mapping one more time clearly, because there are less number of records are there, it is very easy for you to understand field to field. Sometimes on the left hand side I can see 200 records, on the right hand see I see 20 records only. So mapping will be done somewhere from some other field. Okay, it is not easy to see everything on one screen. In that scenario, how you do, if you double click on this field on the first column, if you double click on the first column, then you will see the rule details. You see the description of this tab is rule details. On the rule details tab, you can see what is the source field, what is your target field. Target field is nothing but from the right hand side, this 0 quantity, and source field is nothing but from the left hand side, which is for field from the data source. So from source, quantity was mapped to 0 quantity to the target. So that's how we need to read this screen. Okay, and apart from this source and target, important point is the above section. Here you have two things, aggregation type, role type, aggregation. So this one-to-one mapping, what I said, is nothing but the direct assignment. Apart from direct assignment, we have many other kind of assignments. You see, no transformation, constant, formula, read from master data, routine, all other. So we will learn these things on later point. Now the important point here is the aggregation behavior. Okay, aggregation behavior is overwrite. Okay, and there are one more option called summation. What is overwrite? What is summation? Okay, so what is overwrite? Overwrite summation means is, now copy here, come to something rough notes. So this is very important to understand a bit. So listen carefully. On your business, okay, on your business on Jan 1st, what happened? There is a transaction happened with quantity 2 and $12. Okay, and Jan 2nd, what happened? The same customer came and changed their quantity 2 to 1. So when this change happening, how exactly this change you are updating to the BW is important. Okay, so where exactly this change is happening? This change is happening on the ECC system side. So all this above, whatever above is there, it is nothing but ECC system, or R3 I can say. Okay, this is R3. So the customer coming and customer updating this value is nothing but everything happening on the R3 system side. When this is happening on R3 system side, whatever changes happen on the R3, at the end of the day you are going to update this information to your BW via, because BW perform data loads to to our BW system to get data from R3. So when you are updating this information, so this record we need to strike it out because this got updated. Because this everything got deleted, and finally this record will be present in the R3 system. In R3 these are not two records, one record only. The first record, whichever 2 is there, when customer came and updated this to 2, simply you will update. So automatically on the backend R3 table, this 2 will be overwritten with one value. So on R3 system you will always see the latest one value only. So you cannot see this difference 1 2 and 1 both records in R3. Okay, so when this change you are informing to you are informing to BW. How exactly you are going to inform to BW is important here. Means what exactly I mean to say informing to BW means, when this change happened, so what happening in our delta file. In our delta file I can inform this in two ways. What is the first way? Updating the BW with the latest information. So latest information is one piece, means so that what BW will do, in BW currently we have two pieces, and whenever you are updating with one piece, I can overwrite the existing data with the latest value. This is one kind of updating. So the other way of updating is change. So what exactly it means? The other way of updating to BW is delta file -1, giving -1. It means this is the change. So yesterday it was 2, now it becomes 1. It means I am subtracting 2 -1 from the existing value. If you give this change information to this BW, then in the BW transformation you must handle this data in a different way. If you overwrite, if you are applying the same override kind of property, then what will happen in your BW active table, you will see -1, which is wrong value. Okay, so that's the reason when you updating this change information to BW, how exactly you are going to inform is very important. So this kind of this is override functionality. This is aggregation, summation functionality. We can call it as a additive functionality. It means in order to get the correct value, we must add the old value and the current value, which gives the correct current present value. Okay, and this is override value, which is updating directly the original value. Okay, so that's the reason when you are doing some developments on BW system, always make sure you understand the base data, how exactly delta information being captured in your delta records. If the delta records are captured with the latest information, then in your transformation it is okay to keep this property as a override. But if the delta information capturing and providing to BW is in a summation like additive information, then how to handle this kind of scenario? You need to change this assignment from override to summation. Okay, so by default, whenever you do this kind of mappings in any transformation, when you do a one-to-one assignment like this, system by default always give this property as override for a DSO. Remember, for a standard DSO it is by default override, but comes to cube, it is cube concept we not yet covered, but when we discussed about cube, I will let you know, there it is always summation. Okay, I will let you know about that also in tomorrow session mostly. So this is important. I hope it is clear. So today what exactly we understand, when we try to load delta file from BW into from flat file into our existing standard aDSO, and when it is loading to aDSO, we try to understand how exactly the changelog will be updated according to the data is coming from the source. So when new records are coming, in the changelog table, we are having the record mode as n, but whenever there is some change records are coming, then some, in the changelog table, system is negating the existing data and creating the latest record with the latest value. Finally, this particular after image will be available in our active table. Okay, so here, since I have given filter on this one, it is showing in this way. Let me remove filter. So you see, for the 1004 document number, which is a very new document number to this aDSO, the record mode was set to N. But for 1003, which is a changed record, it is showing record mode after image. Okay, in my active table also I can see the same. New record and change record. So we never, but where is this record mode mapping? So in your transformation file, this is also important. On your transformation file, there is an option called rule group. If you see here on the target, on the left hand side, you see 8 columns are there, but on the right hand side, you are seeing 9 columns. Where exactly the extra column came? The extra column came is record mode, which is not available on this initial screen. But when you change this rule group from standard to technical group, then there you can see one extra column called record mode. Okay, so this is the important. Currently there was no mapping, but whenever something, record mode kind of column coming from left hand side, we use for finance. Okay, we will talk about that also in coming time, as we are very starting stage, so it is not recommendable at this point of time. I hope it is clear. So what I am going to do now is I am going to start